Are you tired of the same old pro wrestling? Then check out the amazing action on Powerslam.tv, the biggest indie pro wrestling channel in the world. Get over 3,000 hours of the best pro wrestling events from over 100 of the biggest names in the industry from over 15 countries around the globe. Get your free trial today at Powerslam.tv.
And we're back with episode 114 of The Sounds of Struggle, where we are recording the day before Valentine's Day.
Yes, nothing but love and kisses to all you genuine saucy bitches out there.
My name's Chris Parrish.
And I am sitting next to... Well, explain yourself. Who is you?
Well, who the fuck are you, though?
Where'd you get in my vehicle?
The day before Valentine's Day, I feel that old Santa Love needed to appear early. I am Spencer Love. I am your host of Over the Top Rope and of Conversations with Love, where you can find my exclusive chats with these two sexy gentlemen.
Whoa. We never let our guests put themselves over that much.
On a side note, Mike the Ref, we're going to pause right here for 3 seconds. Input his entire advertisement for his stuff right now.
The following advertisement is sponsored by Beercade YEG.
Hello. You are listening to a commercial for the podcast Over the Top Rope,
the flagship podcast of the Win Column Sports Network,
as well as a proud member of Backbreaker Media.
Again, this podcast is sponsored by Beercade YEG.
You can find us pretty well anywhere that podcasts are played, including on the iTunes,
Podbean,
the Google Play,
SoundCloud,
and on wincolumnsports.ca for all your previews,
reviews,
and breaking news from the world of professional wrestling. Tune in every Friday on Backbreaker Media, a member of Win Column Sports. Hello friends, this is Spencer Love, the host of Conversations with Love, the exclusive one-on-one interview series sweeping the nation, or at the very least, the great province of Alberta, Canada. Tune in weekly to Backbreaker Media, a proud member of the Win Column Sports Network, as I host a member of the independent wrestling community here in Alberta, or wherever the hell I feel like interviewing somebody from. You can only find it on Backbreaker Media, a proud member of the Win Column Sports Network, and proudly sponsored by Beercade YEG.
And we're back, right on.
And we've returned on Sounds of Struggle 114. I am Spencer Love. Finishing my earlier introduction from before. Guys, thanks for having me on the show.
Which, by the way, you've actually been on this podcast more times than Mike the Ref. How does that feel?
A big ol' one...
Slap in the dick!
One DX crotch chop and suck it to Mike the Ref on this one. I appreciate it. I actually think this is the first podcast I've guested on before Mike the Ref, so this is a pretty exciting development in my wrestling career. Thanks for having me.
Well, you should. We're a very unsuccessful podcast.
We are mediocre at best.
Yeah. At best, don't worry.
Well, that's only if we plug it the right way.
Speaking of plugging it,
Yeah.
I lost another beer bet.
Yeah, he did. To me!
I can't fucking believe I'm literally 0-6 with you in fucking beer bets. Your fucking team was winning to the third!
I am the Tom fucking Brady of beer bets, man.
That's not true. You would have to lose at least 3 in between winning this last one.
Okay, I'm like Tom Brady of beer bets if he wasn't such a fucking jobber in Super Bowls.
So you're like the Terry Bradshaw, but without the losses?
I'm like the Undertaker of WrestleMania beer bets before Brock Lesnar.
Well, you're only at 6, so you got a ways to go before Brock.
Well, I mean,
I gotta find my Brock.
Yeah, you're stepping up to like.
Okay, I'm like the Chris Perish of beer bets right now.
There we go. Why be someone else when you can be yourself?
Yeah.
Very
Fuck you all.
On a serious note, though, literally, start of the third period, they're down. They're playing like shit. I'm like, well, this sucks, but hey, at least I'm gonna win a beer bet for once. And then, literally 12 fucking minutes later, they're up 5-2.
So,
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love it. I'd rather lose a beer bet.
I go to Walmart to buy the shirts that Meniac and I wear for the First Time Tech Struggle debut in
We'll
RCW.
get into that in a little bit.
Very excited.
And then, this is in St. Albert. And anybody who knows the drive from the Walmart to my destination, it's not very long. It's like 7 minutes.
Like 4 people that listen to this might know.
But anyway, the hospital that's by the Walmart is honestly 2.5 fucking minute drive.
Yeah.
To his doom.
So when I got back into my car, it is 2-1 Edmonton. When I get to the hospital, it is 4-2 Chicago.
I'll be honest, it was awesome to watch live. It really was. Reminiscent of the good old
I'm
days.
actually fisting
Your wife?
the air
Oh.
of happiness knowing that I am going to win this beer bet.
Nicely played, Meniac. I caught that one.
Okay, fair enough. Now, here's my
Both
question.
me and my wife know that's not true.
I know that as well. Don't ask me how.
Yeah.
Now, my question to both of you, you guys are both Oiler fans, and I use that term loosely.
Yeah.
2 jerseys were thrown on the ice. What would it take for you to throw a jersey onto the ice? Because, for me, it'll never happen. Those are $200 fucking threads that you're wearing. I will never do that. Even if I am pissed off beyond belief at the Blackhawks, say they trade Jonathan Toews tomorrow and rebuild the whole team, I'm never going to do it.
Okay,
Fuck that.
Okay, you go ahead.
I actually have an Oiler jersey that I got for free. Pride is the reason why I don't throw that jersey on, because I don't care how bad they suck. Look, I lived through the 90s as an Oilers fan, and they were their shits back then. Even worse than they are now.
It's like near the 2000s of the Blackhawks.
Like from 93
40 years of
to
Maple Leafs
1996, 97. Like, they were the worst. Like, I'm never going to throw my jersey on the ice because I bleed that team. Only the fans that do not have the loyalty will do shit like
The
that.
loyalty. I see what he did there!
I'm going to be your counterpoint here, Perish. I would, if I could afford it, I would have thrown a jersey already. I says, we have been the most embarrassing franchise in potentially professional sports.
That's 5 embarrassing. That's bad.
In professional sports, if not for the Cleveland Browns. I don't understand.
Wait. This includes the Pittsburgh Steelers, right?
Yep.
Okay.
I don't understand any industry in which this level of incompetence is not only allowed but encouraged for so long. Like, could you tell me that 12 years, your entire high school career, they have literally eclipsed the length of being a shitty student for their entire life of sucking at hockey.
They were watching me grow up.
They have literally gone through kindergarten to grade 12. There are children out there who, from the age of 5 until their current ages of 17 to 18, have never experienced, save for
1 year,
a year of experiencing good hockey in Edmonton. At all. Myself, I was 12 when the Oilers
okay,
reached,
but it might have...
Hold on, I was 12 when the Oilers reached that cup final.
On my podcast.
I have only been allowed to drink on White Avenue one time.
That seems like a choice.
With the Oilers in the playoffs, they have robbed me of that experience that everyone else with their Red Mile or their, what did they call it when Edmonton made the cup final?
Happiness?
They just lined up on well, we just lined up
A
on
riot?
White Avenue.
I think they called it the Blue Mile because they wanted to
And then
make fun of the
Vancouver
Red
made
Mile
the finals, and
icon.
that was just, they ruined making the finals for everyone.
They called that East Hastings.
Yeah.
But my other question for that is...
That's where Burn It Down apparently resonated from.
So for me, to long ways answer your question before you ask the next, I am at that level already. I just believe if you're going to throw a $200 jersey on the ice, donate it. There's kids out there who would firmly love an Oilers jersey, and don't take that away from kids who
can't afford it?
Yeah.
But my other thing is, would you say you got to the point you throw the jersey? Are you still a fan at that point, or have you kind of like Is that like you parting ways?
You've officially made your heel turn at that point.
Yeah,
Like, I think you have to.
I think this is officially when a kid just throws a temper tantrum and looks like a fucking moron.
No,
I don't disagree.
This is like the public way for an adult to do that if they're a sports fan.
But we were talking about
Like-
this earlier. Like, how else at this point are you genuinely going to show displeasure with the Oilers? Because let's be honest here, they don't care about the fact that I'm upset with them. They really don't care about the fact that myself as a casual, like I go to, let's say at most, 3 to 5 games a year, if I'm lucky and people end up taking me. They don't care that I'm not there. Kevin Lowe made that very clear 10 years ago when he talked about the 2 levels of fans. And not only is he still with the organization, he's been promoted since then.
No, he actually has nothing to do with the actual hockey team.
100%. He now does more on the business side, talking about their 2 tiers of fans. And I just think that why would the Oilers care about my opinion? Like, there's no other way for me as John Q. average
John
salary,
Q. Public.
John Q. Public, unless I'm a suite owner or at least unless I'm someone I'm interested to see that this year, now that all their 3-year renewals are coming up, I'm interested to see what happens, because rumor has it that's why Chiarelli was fired, is that they're low on their renewals this year. And that's the biggest reason. So outside of that, as a guy who makes an average salary and doesn't make what they would sort of call a top tier fan salary, me boycotting does nothing.
Well,
because someone's going to fill my spot.
At some point, I want to know, when is it okay to actually say, look, players, this is fucking your fault. This ain't just the coach's fault. This isn't just the GM's fault, because you've gone through how many of each of them in the last few years.
Yeah.
At some point, you guys just aren't doing your fucking job, and you should be embarrassed about it.
100%, but that's where we talk about the fact that the contracts that the Oilers have are absolutely, like, they are at this point, they're handcuffed. They have a terrible team and no salary cap.
And that is an actual fault of Peter Chiarelli, of the
100%.
general manager. That's his
biggest
fault.
Former.
That is his. And he did the same thing to Boston. For a Hartford graduate of finance, this is embarrassing that he can't
Mark
handle the salary cap.
Zuckerberg left Harvard. Bill Gates left Harvard.
Yeah.
Peter Chiarelli stayed at Harvard.
Yeah. And like this
One
school
of
is
these things is not like the other.
One of these things just doesn't belong.
okay. Well, and no, it's Mark Zuckerberg probably doesn't know how to run a sports team. We can say that much.
Well, neither does Peter Chiarelli.
But at the same time, what they both have in common is they don't give a fuck about what the public actually do think about their product.
Just one did a successful job with that.
Exactly.
Now, my next question
But at least Peter Chiarelli won a fucking cup in Boston. You owe us that much, you asshat.
Now, my next question is, should they have another closed-door meeting for the players only? And if so...
That's on Connor McDavid, though.
Yeah, if that...
That's totally on the leadership and not anybody
else. If that's
else.
the case, what goes on in a closed-door meeting?
Hopefully a brawl,
You know,
like a battle royale.
I'm really not sure. Friedman came out in his 31 Thoughts podcast today, and he said that Ken Hitchcock, this is all rumor, but apparently Ken Hitchcock was ready to quit on the Oilers this past weekend. He was ready to leave the position after...
But again, what does
how
that say
toxic
about the
they-
players?
100%.
Like,
what goes on in a closed-door meeting? Guys, to this point, I don't want to ever question anyone's effort, because I don't think that there's any Oiler... I don't think there's any
I got
Oiler
in crap
who
from Jason
consciously...
Greger last year about me saying something about the character issue. And I'm like, how can you not agree with me on
I
that
can't-
when the team has been this bad and they're not emotionally distraught after games?
Yeah, even for me, like, I can never personally comment on that sort of stuff. I don't know what goes on as far as the character in that. But for me, like, as an outside observer, and even as someone who thinks that there can't possibly be an Oiler out there who's sitting and saying, yeah, let's mail it in this
Brian
game.
Smith would never have given, like, he would not have stood for this.
And I just don't, for me, and I don't
Sean Horkoff would never have stood
like
for
I'm
this.
critiquing Connor McDavid's leadership or anything like that, but, like, to me, it is very clear that there are a few players out there who are...
I still think it's a running joke
who are both
that Milan
talented.
Lucic has an A on his sweater.
Yeah, like, to me, there are a very few number of players who are both talented and trying their hardest right now.
Yeah.
I just think as a guy watching the game, that's
but
the
like,
way it's gone.
I still thought it was an absolute joke that this team decided to move on from Matt Hendricks, knowing what the character issue that he brought, not issue, sorry, but the character he brought to the locker room. Those guys are invaluable whether they play 82 games or not. Those guys bring some to the locker room.
No,
sure enough, they make the playoffs last time he was on the team.
Yeah, for me, Hendrick's hindsight is 2020.
No, but
I think if you got,
it's not. That's why I wanted to sign Jerome McGinley, not for what he would bring onto the ice, but what he brings into the locker room. You need guys that you want to actually play the game for.
And that was an educated bet at that point, because you were bringing in a guy like Milan Lucic, who, again, I've never met. I don't claim to know the guy. I don't claim to know anything that goes on with him, but like, he was supposed to be the guy who at that point was coming in as a guy who'd won a cup and replace that voice in the locker room.
But I honestly think this team went as bad as they did once they signed Andrew Ference and just gave him the C.
Yeah, and I think
it actually truly started then.
I think in any team, I don't see any reason you would give a player any sort of leadership role when they're first coming here without having to step on the ice. Yeah, I just don't get that, because for me, like you say, you bring up the culture on it. I don't think that can do nothing but hinder it, unless it is someone like if Connor McDavid was to go somewhere. And this isn't to knock Andrew Ference, but
or like a John.
No,
Tavares.
because you know what?
And this isn't
Andrew Ference went out of his way to shit on the Edmonton Oilers.
But that was
like
after,
a captain
you know what?
quality there.
Yeah.
But that was after, you know what? Let's give that credit. But for me,
so
like,
you
I
don't do
think,
that.
No, but
You've never seen Eisman do it when the Red Wings are bad.
No,
you never saw Sakic do that.
I don't think you can bring in a guy like, unless you are a McDavid or like you say a Tavares. Like, you have to be that top player, and this isn't a shot at Ference, because I think even in his last couple of years until he got hurt, like, he was a useful player, but he wasn't Chris Pronger. He wasn't a top pairing D-man, and I think you do have to sort of command that respect first, because even coming in, I've been lucky enough, I've met Andrew Ference a couple of times. He seems like a perfectly great human being. But I don't think that you can come into a locker room as a perfectly great human being and not have people experience that first. I think they put the cart before the horse.
No, as a leader, you need to be someone who has a presence and have the rest of that locker room feel that presence and say, look, if I don't play a certain way, that presence is going to it's going to come on me.
Yep.
And they got to want to win. And they got to feel that presence is going to change the way they play the game. And that's the thing. Last time the Oilers made the playoffs, as soon as they clinched against the Kings, you saw them talk about how, you know what, I feel really happy that Jordan and Ryan are going to play their first playoff game. They were clearly at that point playing for one another. That is the biggest thing that's lost with this Oilers team, is that not a single player on that team is truly playing for one another. I don't find that. I don't believe that. If they say it, I don't believe it.
No. Just to go back real quick, I thought closed-door meetings for players were all about getting mani-pedis and playing bocce. What the fuck do I know?
Hungry hippos, man. Fits in a room.
Exactly. Team building.
That's how you build a team.
But from there, let's move on. Let's move on to some happier things. Like, how about Ovechkin passing Sergei Fedorov for most points by Russian-born player of all the time?
Alexander Ovechkin is the greatest goal scorer in NHL history, hands down.
Of this modern era.
Don't at me on it. And you know what? The only person I will take that can compete with him is Mike Bossy.
So you wouldn't say Gretzky even though he has more goals?
As far as a pure goal scorer, no. Gretzky's the greatest player of all time. I think that's easy.
I would put Lemieux in that category too.
I think if Lemieux didn't get leukemia, because I mean he's still top, I think 15. And he played not even 1,000 games.
That's like if you look at Bobby Orr. Bobby Orr is same sort of thing. He's a top 5. I think last time I checked was top 5 defensive scorer. Yeah. And he's played less than 1,000 games.
Yeah. Oh, Bobby Orr completely changed what a defenseman.
Yeah, he'd be the only guy to me who could compete with.
But I still believe that Bobby Orr and the way he played the game is the reason why he left the game so early.
Yep. I think that Mike Bossy, you can make the argument for, because if he had played long enough, I bet you he would have scored more than Gretzky.
And you know what?
Scored 50 goals
I'll actually say the same thing
every year
about a fellow countryman of Alexander Ovechkin. Had Pavel Bure not blew his knees out on 2 really questionable plays, he might have been setting that standard a little higher for goal scorers for Russians.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong there.
And
he was too. Like, the best way to put it for me for Bure,
and I do believe that Pavel Bure and Alexander Ovechkin are the 1 and 2 in Ovechkin then Bure, but I do believe Bure was the guy who set it all. Like, he set the standard, But I do believe that if he didn't get hurt, that standard would have been a lot higher.
Yeah, the fact to me that somebody is even close, like realistically close to breaking Wayne Gretzky's 894.
All he's got to do is like 46 goals a year for the next like 5 or 6 years.
It is a very high.
Eric Kraus, going to give my cheap plug here, but he wrote an awesome article for us on Win Column about Ovechkin. He's a huge Capitals fan. And I think he said something along the lines, I'm misquoting here, so excuse that, but I think it was something along the lines of he has to score 30 goals a year until he's 40. So that I think is 7 or 6 seasons. And he'll beat it. And he has averaged 30 goals a season throughout his entire career. Yeah, At least. I think it's 34 or 35 a year.
But we also got to watch and see if he actually decreases in production once he gets older, like a lot of hockey players do get. That's something you got to watch on.
He's unique though, man.
I do believe that he has a team and a structure, especially with a guy like Backstrom there. And I think Backstrom should be getting just as much compliments as Ovechkin, because 90% of the
Nicholas
time
Backstrom
is the guy setting them up.
He is this decade's version of Mark Savard.
Yep.
Because Mark Savard, for me, he was always my last round pick in fantasy hockey. And every year someone would say, why did you pick Mark Savard? And every year he'd come out.
Concussions.
Every year he'd come out and score 80 or 90 points, and you just wipe your hands at the end of the year. And Backstrom's the same way. That guy is sneaky good, man.
He's flying under the radar.
Yeah. So even Ovechkin, you know what? I have no issue.
Though.
Maybe Ovechkin, just to go back to it, maybe he won't hit Gretzky, and
he'll be very close.
He's been very lucky to be as healthy as he is.
It all depends on his
longevity.
100%. It all depends on his longevity.
I will guarantee if he stays healthy, he'll break 800.
The other thing to call into question, though, is there going to be another lockout? That will inhibit him, I think, quite a bit.
It's odd to say that the NHL is the least likely league to lock out at this point.
Those lockouts fully affected Jaromir Jagr, though, too. 100%.
Jagr didn't leave for Russia because of the lockouts.
No, but
Jagr left because he wanted to go back to Russia.
But those lockouts did have a decision on his play. Because
he went back earlier than the first lockout.
No, but again...
In 94?
Or sorry, when I'm thinking
the
first lockout.
04-05?
Yeah, but at the same time...
Full season lot. That was full season, yeah.
Smart players know when these are coming and when they're not. Right? Like...
I think a good portion of the league probably know.
I think a lot of these guys knew if a lockout was coming. A lot of them were hopeful.
100%.
But a lot of them probably realized it. Guys like Jagr and a lot of guys like European, they will go where I want to say the money is, because they're looking at it at a different way. They're not heart and soul in the business end that a lot of North Americans are.
No, I think they're heart and soul in the business end. That's why they chase the most money. They're not heart and soul in being in a country that's not their home country.
Well, and that's
just got to be my guess to it.
But they're looking at it from the business end of what can make me the most money. They're separating business and pleasure at this point.
Which is hard to do.
It's a difficult thing.
But that's the thing. A lot of people have a perception that the NHL is the end-all and be-all. It's like WWE with wrestling.
Or UFC for...
But when the KHL came out, it was a sexy secondary option, i.e. AEW. Right? So when that comes out... and
I just like the hockey more in the KHL.
But when you see there's other options in there and you can make a lot of money and you can still play hockey, you're going to go there.
So this year it's pretty cool. Connor McDavid and Austin Matthews are actually going to defect, and they're starting their own independent hockey promotion.
It's called Matthews McDavid Hockey. The MMH.
You mean they're not signing with the BC Lions? Because that apparently was what everyone was going to do a few days ago.
Okay, apparently, as if Mike Riley didn't sign there. And as much as people want to talk...
Hey, which was called last week on the Sounds of Struggle, by the way.
As much as people want to talk about it, Mike Riley is still... The Edmonton Eskimos are at a net loss losing Mike Riley as of this point, and they've got to prove to me, and I know they signed some great free agents.
Which we'll get into.
They've got to prove to me.
They're a better team now than they were 3 days ago. 100%.
I will disagree with
But anyways, carry on. We will get into the whole Mike Riley situation and all that in a little bit.
Yeah, and I will definitely go there, because I'm not even a CFL guy, but I understand the dynamic of what the Eskimos did on that free agency.
We also have Thornton now, Joe Thornton, becoming number 15 on the all-time points list, number 9 all-time assists, passing Gordie Howe.
Handsome man, great beard.
My grandma had the biggest crush on Gordie Howe, so like every time I would go to her house, in her basement, she had a Gordie Howe suite. Are you opening the door because I farted?
Partially.
Okay.
Did you?
Yeah.
You can't smell that?
No.
Yeah.
He's immune to my sweetness of shit. So.
Oh, fair enough.
Okay, I've one up to you already on this, so it's fine.
For everyone who is wondering, he's pissing.
Yeah, he's pissing out in the parking lot.
But let's carry on.
No, I'm not. That's illegal.
Yeah, I know. We've seen somebody get kicked out of first round doing this.
Huh?
The week after I took a dump in the West End parking lot.
True story. No, true story.
Yeah, true story. It's happened on this very podcast.
Doesn't mean you shouldn't grow up.
Yeah, I don't think you should, though.
I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid, damn it.
How about Luongo becoming second all-time in appearances, beating out Patrick Waugh at 1,030?
By coming in on the third period, though.
Yeah, still counts.
Yeah,
I am
know,
so
but
very happy he doesn't play for the Vancouver Canucks anymore because he is one of the goaltenders I love most of all time.
I partially
Of all
want the
the time.
Oilers to bring him in as a backup.
He is just such a, like, I don't even know. It's still unconfirmed whether it's actually his Twitter account or not, which I love.
Oh,
But the rumored Strombone one, or Stromboni one,
It
I
is
love
his.
it. I love it.
he's never confirmed it though,
Yes, he
and
has.
I still love it. No, he hasn't.
Yes, he has.
Because it was between him and Duffy for the longest time.
Fighting over fucking
But either way, Luongo
Because he's
seems
playing in Florida. Nobody cares about Florida.
seems like a great human being, just from interviews, that sort of stuff. Hell of a goaltender. Congratulations, Roberto Luongo.
How about Crosby passing Marilyn Mew for the most games played by a Penguin in history? It's 916.
Was the game tonight against the Oilers the one that beat it?
No, it happened a couple days ago.
Congratulations, no better player to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And then
I was really hoping Phil the Thrill did it.
I was going to say, if anybody, it'd be Malkin, but it wouldn't happen tonight because, well, he's suspended. Which, speaking of which...
No, I think Fleury would have done it had he never been picked off.
That's true. That too.
Yeah.
But
Still, I think a mistake from Pittsburgh by letting him go.
yeah,
100%.
Speaking of which, Malkin suspended for one game for his slash to the face.
Should've been
After he
longer.
said he didn't think he was going to get suspended, too.
Yeah,
Should have been
that was-
longer.
I agree. That was really stupid. I have him on fantasy, but I'm like, you know what? That was really fucking dumb.
I'm playing him this week. I wish he was out longer.
Another milestone. Bergeron hits 1,000 games. Good for him.
Patrice Bergeron,
He's a
as much
stud.
as people enjoy him, like and appreciate him, he will still to me go down as one of the most underrated players ever.
Stud.
Probably
100%.
one of the best
Yeah.
face-off men ever.
One of
Him-
the best defensive forwards ever. That
Yeah,
guy is
Selke-
literally
Selke goal.
He is literally on a Sergei Fedorov like level, and nobody talks about it.
Boston actually has like such a sick dynamic between him and Brad Marchand.
Him, Marchand,
But then they got-
Pasternak. Man, Pasternak is a top 10 NHL player right now.
That's what I was going to say. Then they bring in Pasternak.
Speaking of
He
which,
comes up-
he'll be out for 2 weeks.
Yeah. But then they also draft a guy named Jake DeBrusk, and that's a solid 4 guys in your top 6 that are fucking phenomenal.
Yep.
I love Jake DeBrusk.
They're building well. I like what they're doing in Boston. They were completely right to fire Peter Chiarelli, which makes 2 teams that have fired him completely correct.
Yeah. Hopefully, things are looking up.
Yeah, right?
Everything's coming up Millhouse.
Coming up Millhouse for also Paul Maurice, who has just had his 1,500th game coach in the NHL. So congrats to him. Unfortunately, some of those were for the Leafs.
Unfortunately, some
Not
of
a
them were
lot
for-
of them.
Unfortunately, some of them were for the 2006 Carolina Hurricanes as well.
True.
Yeah, but playoffs don't count.
Playoffs.
We're talking about playoffs.
And then we can get into some signings, trades, firings. How about staying on that? Ducks fire Randy Carlyle.
Should have at the start of the year.
Yeah.
I'd say the fact that he made this long is actually surprising. The
That's
fact
what
he
she
made
said.
it. The fact that he made it longer than Joel Quenneville.
I'm happy that Bob Murray's stepping behind the bench for the first time in literally his entire
No,
life.
I wouldn't hurt on that. It's your team actually understood that they actually have a season to save, so they do it earlier.
They're turning it around.
Yeah. Whereas
Although they
Anaheim,
lost yesterday to,
Anaheim is just shooting themselves in the foot, and then they're selling guys off, and then they made that decision. So they're more of a screwed up franchise than people probably want to think right now.
Yes. And speaking of sell-offs and stuff, etc., the Devils traded Brian Boyle to the Predators for a second-round pick in 2019.
Who would have thought he would have been valued as a second-round pick?
Good
It's
on
cancer.
Brian Boyle, man. Not
then-
much else to say. One of the great stories out there in the last few years.
Yeah, and Predators also got Cody McLeod back from the Rangers for a 2020 7th-round pick.
Calling it now, the Nashville Predators of 2015 to 2025 are going to be that decade's version of the San Jose Sharks.
Making
Or
it to the finals,
Washington
but never.
Capitals.
All sizzle, no steak.
I mean, Washington Capitals are that for a long time.
If you haven't
too.
won with Pekka Rinne right now, you're not going to win with him as he gets older.
I think it could be the same thing for the Tampa Bay Lightning if they don't pick their shit up too.
Potentially, but I think they've got a better shot than Nashville does.
Yeah.
And I love Nashville, but I think they're going to be a lot of bridesmaids.
No, but the Pride!
The bride!
And then the Canadians also acquired Nate Thompson and a 5th-round pick from the Kings for a 4th-round pick.
They
gives
also
a shit?
acquired, Dale
No,
Weiss again?
That I didn't see.
Oh, yeah.
What else do we have here? The Leafs and Austin Matthews have finally agreed to a 5-year, $58.17 million contract.
11.5 AAV.
No, the weird part is it's like $700,000 a year, and then like a 10-point-something million dollar signing bonus every year.
Still
Good
an
on the-
11 and a half.
That's the big market
cap
advantage
hit
for you.
Yeah.
a year.
But I don't know enough about the Leafs cap situation, and I already know I'm biased because I hate the Leafs.
Go to capfriendly.com, my friend.
To me lately though, it seems enough, or it seems like Kyle Dubas.
Yes.
Who's a
Must
wrestling
be-
fan, by the way?
Good on him. Must be the worst negotiator of all time.
No.
Not necessarily.
No.
I think William Nylander walked into his office, said, "This is what I'll take," and he said, "Okay." At
No,
the end of the day,
I actually strongly believe that he handled the Nylander thing pretty well.
I think
And
it's odd to me that Matthews, like, why would you go for a 5-year deal?
Because I understand it completely. Because you don't want to offset, or you want to offset all of your stars' contracts.
Right. Why?
So
your
they're not all
biggest
free
one?
agents on the same year. Not to mention, this works for both. Because the longer the contract goes for Austin Matthews, the upper the cap hit per year, which actually goes against the Toronto Maple Leafs. If you're going to sign an 8-year, you're going to have an upper cap hit. So it's going to be north of 11.5, right?
Which is exactly what you want in the long term, because the longer it's the
No,
same theory. It's the same theory as when you sign Malkin, because I still. It's
No,
the
but-
same theory as every year in the NFL. Like contracts to me, they are so freaking cut and dry. Every year there is going to be a salary cap increase. Every year,
It does seem to be.
and it matters a lot more
Not
in the
in
NHL.
baseball. It
Matters a
went
lot.
down this year.
Wow.
Baseball
that's
doesn't matter. A soft a soft salary cap isn't worth 2 farts in the wind, man. It really isn't.
Good, because
The
I
fact-
farted twice on
The
south
fact
side.
the New York Yankees can just sit
3
there.
times.
There are fans in the MLB who are genuinely upset that the Yankees aren't spending up enough to pay a certain amount of luxury tax this year.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
It's
And
ridiculous.
The other thing that's ridiculous, Perish, you're a dick.
Well, that's a known that's a
that
known
came,
entity.
That came from my Yars.
Yeah. Also, Colin Delia got a 3-year, $3 million extension with the Blackhawks. So,
No,
Okay.
but
hooray!
here's
that exists.
I'm actually
Yeah,
going
that
to go
exists.
on another reason why this contract is actually smart, because if Austin Matthews is to sign another contract with the Leafs, there's a good chance that those next 3 years where he doesn't sign for 8 years, so that 5 would become 8, is also not going to be worth 12.5 or more. It'll be backloaded, not front loaded. Because, and then at the end of the day, the Toronto Maple Leafs actually do get their star player for a lesser cap hit for those 8 years than what they would have done had they would have done 8
They'll
years.
get him for less physical dollars. The cap hit and the physical dollars of the things are completely different.
But
so
at-
just because Toronto can afford to backload a contract for him wouldn't change the fact that let's put the number at $14 million. Because I would hazard a guess by this point that it would be ridiculous to me if Matthews doesn't sign a $14 or $15 million deal after this.
Yeah. But at the same time, though, if they're going to sign all their guys,
And as
They
far
can't do it if they do it all
as far
in
as
a
I'm
year.
aware, this 5 years at the end of his rookie contract will take him to 26,
yeah,
which hits unrestricted free agency.
he's actually going to be 28 when this contract ends.
I don't know.
And for me, I think Toronto Maple Leafs, like they have gone out, and I again qualify this with I don't know as much as I probably should make in the comment, but you just took another team's star player who didn't sign a contract for long enough term, didn't negotiate a new contract, and left for nothing.
That'd be funny if it happened. He went to the
I
Islanders.
would love it.
If he went to the
I don't
Islanders,
care where he
think it'd
goes.
be hilarious.
No,
It's the same way I'm sure the Leafs would love it if Connor McDavid signed elsewhere. I'll take all the flack in the world for it. I'd love to see Austin Matthews leave Toronto for nothing.
no, but what this does is if Mitch Marner does not agree to an extension before the year, offer sheet will happen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's a player, will happen.
Oh yeah.
But what
You know what? If it didn't,
what
if,
this
if
deal
it didn't
does,
happen, if it didn't happen for Nylander, I doubt it'll happen.
but what this
for
deal does
Marner.
allows Toronto to negotiate a deal where Marner actually fits in their cap for next season as well.
The other thing I don't understand is
Marner's not going to
added-
sign. Marner won't sign for less than $10 million at this
No,
point.
but they
And
will
there have
be
been a
able
couple
to
people
afford
I've
it.
seen saying they'll sign him for 3 years by 7.8. Like, absolutely not.
You know what?
Absolutely not.
They say that, but at the same time, there is no way Connor McDavid signs a 5-year, $12.5 million contract with the Edmonton Oilers when he signed his contract.
Because he didn't.
No, but
Signed an 8-year deal.
No, but that's the thing. It's a thing in the NHL. When you add term, you also add contract on your average year.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's a 5-year deal, and this is a Chicago Blackhawk model that they made famous when they signed their players and won all the cups they did.
hooray.
This allowed them to have flexibility long term per
So now
year.
so we're now fucked.
Stan Bowman was very, very good for years and years and years as far as pushing off the inevitable cap hell. But he also was very, very good at trading off guys like Dustin Byfuglien or Andrew Ladd.
No, he
guys.
had to because
Exactly, but he was good at trading the right pieces
talent
away.
fucked up on those.
People tend to forget that, like, the Chicago Blackhawks, the years they didn't win the cups in between, weren't great. They were coming into the playoffs in a 6th or a 7th or an 8th. They were a playoff team, but they weren't a cup contender the year after they
No, but
traded
a
a guy
lot of
like
people
Byfuglien.
also didn't realize
Or they weren't a
how
cup
much
contender
hockey
the
they're
year after
playing
they
year
traded
after
Brandon
year after
Saad.
year too, and that wears you down.
100%, but at the same time, like, Chicago, Stan Bowman is one of the smartest GMs of the past 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Just for the fact that he was able to keep... It's hard to build a dynasty nowadays. And what Toronto's doing is, like, yes, it's very smart to lock up your core players, but, like...
But at the same time...
If you think Edmonton's limited right now, you think Toronto's not going to limit themselves, giving $50 million to 5 players?
But here's the thing, too. You sign, say, Marner to a similar contract, right? Like a 5-year, like average for years. After those, like, you know, after year 4 and you got to make a decision, are you going to re-sign him or trade him? He's still going to be, before 30 years old with a high ceiling. So you're going to be trading him when his ceiling is very high, and you're going to get a lot more then than you would at 33,
Yes
34. 100%.
You lose him for nothing.
What happens if they have to trade Austin Matthews at the end of this next contract?
Then they've made a dumb decision. Any trade,
But they will get more for him.
The team that gets the best player wins. That's it. That's all.
All the time.
That's it. That's
all
all.
the time.
That's why people don't sit and talk about. Well, the St. Louis Blues did great in the Pronger trade because they got Brewer, Doug Lynch, and Jeff Woywitka.
But this is the difference
All of who
between
were
an
fine hockey
NHL
players.
salary cap and an MLB salary cap and an NFL salary cap.
Because the NHL's matters.
Does the
like that's all there is.
NBA
to it.
Exactly.
NBA's a soft cap too.
Yeah, it's a very soft.
Yeah.
It's a soft 2.
You know, so, but and NBA to the point too. Like it does, like that's the difference though. Like the NHL actually is a cap market league, whereas the rest of the leagues, yes, they have a cap, but they really don't. Like NHL doesn't have that dead money thing.
No.
Like the
Unless
NFL.
you're Arizona.
Yeah. Now moving on to the IIHF Hockey Hall of Fame has announced who they're going to have inducted.
Who?
Zygmunt Palffy,
Great choice.
Yeah.
Miroslav Satan.
Oh, the best number 81.
I always wanted him to be.
You take that back.
I knew you'd be.
I always wanted him to be number 6 on the Devils.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jorgen Jonsson, who played for Sweden, I guess. I don't know if he played much over here, but I guess he was a big
Jorgen Jonsson fan myself. So
huge Jorgen Jonsson.
Number 1.
Haley Wickenheiser.
great.
And Mike Modeno. Pretty good
Well
class.
deserved.
Pretty good class.
Well deserved, all of them. I
Yeah.
have no idea who the nominees were.
I would
They
say
all
top
sound
5 top American-born players of all time.
100%. 100%.
You, honestly, I think you could argue top 3. I really think you could.
Probably.
Well, I mean, I only say top 5 because the day that he retires, Pat Kane will be.
Which, speaking of which,
And
he's,
Austin Matthews will be too.
I think Patrick Kane just tied Stan Mikita team record with 14 assists. Sorry, assists in 14 straight games. So he's on a bit of a tear at the moment, so that's good. Even though they lost to Boston last night. I don't want to talk about it.
What was the score?
6-3.
Oh, I thought you didn't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it. Panarin has also parted ways with his agent Don Milstein and replaced him with Paul Theophanis, who's actually Bobrovsky's agent.
They're both going to Florida.
You think so?
Those guys cleared out enough cap space for them, and any state you don't have to pay tax in automatically has the advantage to me as far as where a free agent would go.
That's definitely possible. Yeah.
And I think if you were to sign both,
Then why doesn't top guys actually sign there?
That turns Florida into a cup contender. Oh yeah, it's not like Yammer Yager came back and played for him.
He played for everyone. That doesn't count.
Yeah, it does.
He actually came back and chose Philly.
And then
Washington. No, was that before?
Washington was before.
Didn't he stay in Dallas?
Boston?
After he got
There are
traded
like
there?
40 of them. Okay.
Yeah, there's so many. So many.
Man, he almost left Russia to come play for the Oilers.
Yep.
Almost being the key word.
Had his team not make the playoffs, he was signing at the Oilers.
Almost.
Let's not talk about it, guys.
The Wild captain Mikko Koivu will miss the remainder of the season after suffering a tear to his ACL and meniscus in his right knee.
And because of that, the Oilers won their last game.
Yep. If anybody's looking for somebody on the waiver wire in my fantasy football or fantasy hockey pool, excuse me, Mikko Koivu's on there because I had to drop him.
If you have fantasy football, fuck that. Yeah.
He's doing horrible in fantasy football for me this year.
Man, having a Finn on your fantasy football team is almost as dumb as having a Mexican on your CFL team.
We'll get into that. Actually, we already got into it.
We already did that, yeah.
The last thing I have for hockey is movie Goalie, based on Terry Sawchuk, is coming out March 1st. In Vancouver and Toronto only.
Not
Why
Montreal.
No.
Not Montreal.
Just these two.
Yeah.
My grandfather used to tell me a story about he stood in an elevator once with Terry Sawchuk, and other than that, I just know he's a great goalie. There's my two personal experiences with.
There you go.
Terry.
I think that should come out everyone because I actually like to see that. Like, even though it was almost all in French, I still watched the Rocket movie. I thought it was awesome.
I only have ever watched the Rocket in French in like a French class.
But that's
have you ever seen Ice Guardians?
No.
Also a great movie.
Is that the one about the goons?
Yeah, it's all about fighters on Netflix.
Yeah.
Fantastic movie.
I'll have to,
Hey,
like,
if you want to talk
fantastic.
about sports movies, you go back in time and you listen to previous episodes.
I think it's like episode like 79.
No, it was way
The
earlier
least.
than
Okay, 69.
that. Probably.
Actually, it could have been very well been 69. Let's get into some ball sports.
Ball sports.
Okay, opinions. Miami Heat are retiring Bosch's #1 jersey.
Joke.
He played there for like, what,
When
5 years
When
maybe?
you're a team that doesn't have a ton of history, you've got to start establishing it somewhere. And if Chris Bosch is going to be the low bar to get your jersey
So they're going to
retired
retire
in Miami,
LeBron James 6 then?
yeah, why not?
I would when he's done.
LeBron James's jersey should genuinely be retired league-wide.
LeBron James might be the
23
greatest
should
Miami
also be-
Heat of all the times.
23 should be retired league-wide. Dwayne Wade's the
two
greatest
people.
Miami
And
Heat
LeBron
player of
James
all
actually
Yeah,
tried to get that done. And universally by the league, it was denied. Because the players didn't want to do it.
Speaking of which, LeBron James is the youngest player to hit 32,000 points.
time. He's the GOAT.
Yes.
No debating it.
No. Except for Muggsy Bogues, he's the best. Because he's small.
Also,
That's
Jeremy
my favorite part of Space Jam.
Jeremy Lin's now a Raptor.
Yeah.
When the fuck did that happen?
He signed today and played his first game today.
I was going to say a couple hours after the Gasol trade came official, that was sort of rumored. I'm excited. I would genuinely buy... I'm not a huge basketball fan. I would buy a Jeremy Lin
So you're
Raptors
saying in
jersey.
Toronto, Vinsanity was the past, but Linsanity's the
Yeah, no,
future.
Linsanity. We can completely
My
forget
favorite
about
basketball
Vinsanity
team
now,
is
guys.
still Toon Squad. Still.
I'm still...
All right. That's fair. That's completely... I can't debate them.
And we move on to some football. Cleveland Browns signed Kareem Hunt.
I love this move.
I don't know much about football, so
Well,
This is why I've always stood by the fact that the NFL is a garbage league run by garbage people.
No, but that's the thing. That's exactly my thing, though. Because of this, it's a great move for Cleveland. Because he is going to add to the Browns if he's allowed to play, and there's a good chance he will be.
why would
Should
he be allowed to play?
Because he's the one who fucking kicked the girl in the hotel room.
Oh!
And released by the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay.
But that's my point.
Okay, here's
this signing alone just shadows how absolutely corrupt the NFL as a league is when it comes
Let's
to
double
morality.
standard this one on every level I possibly can, because there's a lot of different ways that this is a terrible decision. If he's allowed to play, why isn't Ray Rice?
No.
Neither of them should play. That's
No,
where I stand
100%.
on it. Neither of them should play.
But I think
why
this
isn't Ray
signing
Rice?
flat out shows you how hypocritical that actual company is.
I genuinely, I don't say this lightly about anyone. I hope Kareem Hunt does not ever have a job.
And why doesn't a
rest of his life.
team take advantage of the corruptness? I mean, the owners like Kraft and Jerry Jones do it every year.
But I will also stand by the fact I think both Robert Kraft and Jerry Jones are pieces of shit individuals.
But in order to succeed in this league, you kind of have to become that.
And I disagree there too.
Yeah.
I don't think you have to. And I don't know enough
No,
about
but you tell me a team that will actually beat the New England Patriots. And they're one of the most...
the New York Giants.
They get away with everything.
Eli Manning's never done anything wrong.
Except play
never.
football.
Well, there were 2 seasons, but now my question is, if this is all going on, why can't Fitzpatrick come back and play?
He did.
Where?
He was in Tampa Bay.
Kaepernick?
That's what I mean, Kaepernick.
Yeah.
Same thing, whatever. Same guy.
Because racism is different.
Yeah, I guess.
This is...
You can beat a chick as long as you're not racist towards her.
Why do you think Greg Hardy was allowed back in the NFL?
And then in MMA.
Yeah. And what does he do? The biggest dipshit thing move.
Gets
the guy weighs down.
Like, he's a fucking moron
He should
through
never
and through.
You know what? I've got no issue.
But the
saying a guy
UFC's
like,
corrupt too, because
saying a
they
guy
do what's
like
good for
Kareem Hunt,
publicity.
I think any
i.e.
sort of
CM Punk.
I think any sort of abuse like that too, man. Like it is so fucking just morally wrong. Like in every sort of fucking way. Like I have no other way to put it, no other way to be more eloquent about it. The fact that Kareem Hunt has a job in the NFL is atrocious. And the fact that Colin Kaepernick, who, like, the biggest argument I hear about
Colin
the guy...
Kaepernick did nothing different than what Tim Tebow fucking did, and Tim
and
Tebow was revered.
The biggest argument...
Jesus.
The biggest argument... Because for me, you can't begrudge someone for whichever side of the political spectrum they sit on. If people disagree with Kaepernick's message as a whole, like, that's an entire different story. But the fact that that guy's been blackballed from the NFL, from what I can tell, that guy should at least be a backup. At least be a backup on half of the fucking teams in the NFL.
Man, I would love if my Saints signed him as a backup.
And that's the thing. Maybe he
That'd
isn't
be fantastic.
Maybe he isn't good enough to be a starter. I don't know that for sure, right? Maybe he isn't good enough to be a backup. And if that is the case, then great. But the fact that I see, was it the New York Jets? No, not the Jets. Who had their 2 quarterbacks go down within a week? The Chiefs, maybe? Either way, they had a couple of quarterbacks go
Redskins,
down.
probably.
There we go.
Yeah.
So they had their quarterbacks
So they had
go
Alex
down.
Smith go down.
They signed Mark Sanchez.
Right,
They signed Mark Sanchez, who hasn't thrown a pass since I was thinking 2000.
the guy's most famous play
2014.
is to take a football and run into his own teammate's ass and fumble that football.
2014, he hadn't thrown a pass from since something like that. And you're sitting and telling me that Colin Kaepernick, a guy who has led a team to the Super Bowl in the past 5 years, who not forced but allowed a team to trade a potential league MVP in Alex Smith, oddly enough. You're telling me that he's not better than Mark Sanchez, who, when he was playing, I was making fun of the guy because I knew how bad he was.
We're also talking about a league where Nick Foles isn't getting a solid contract from the team, where he won a Super Bowl and went to a divisional final for.
Yep.
And then we're also talking about a league where Joe Flacco, an MVP of the Super Bowl, is being traded for a rookie to the Denver Broncos.
See, those ones I understand a bit more.
Because
I really do, because like those are guys still in the
you saw
league.
how bad the Baltimore Ravens were in their last playoff game, and how constantly aware it made sense for them to switch to
Flacco, yeah.
Flacco in that game.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not a huge NFL guy. I don't know enough about like the league itself. To me, I cannot understand how in any industry, and I don't run $1 billion industry, so don't get me wrong there either, but like how you can allow
but then
individuals like him, like a Pac-Man Jones, like a Greg Hardy, how you can allow guys like that in the league, and it's not even about Kaepernick on that end. To me, it is apples and oranges. how you can allow guys like that in the league.
Yeah, they're all fruits.
How you can...
well, we were talking about Tebow.
Hey, that's mean.
Yeah, it's true, though.
I just think that how you can allow guys like that in the league is brutal. It's absolutely brutal.
Yeah. Oh,
No other way to put it.
remember last week we were talking about the where the Raiders might play?
Yeah.
It's not going to be Oracle Park.
No, but they're in talks with Oakland again.
Atlanta.
Yeah, I guess the San Francisco Giants, they want to play where San Francisco Giants play. The 49ers are not waiving their territorial rights. So they're like, yeah, that's not happening.
Yeah.
But going back to Colin Kaepernick, you know where he can play? The
XFL?
The XFL. Which, speaking of which, CEO Oliver Luck introduced former Oakland Sooners coach Bob Stoops and named him head coach and general manager of the Dallas team.
Yeah.
So they're starting to
From
get all
what
that
I've
together.
heard, that's a very good hire. I don't know a lot about him, but that's a very good hire. To go back to Kaepernick on that,
You have the father of Indy coach or Indy quarterback Andrew Luck as the commissioner of the XFL, which you should know that as an Indy Colts fan.
Vince McMahon, sorry to go back to Kaepernick there. Vince, in like that initial press conference, I remember he was asked a question specifically about an anthem, and I believe that the XFL is going to have a rule in it that you have to stand for the anthem.
I think, honestly, we should go back to the time where you didn't have a fucking anthem. There's no need.
I've never understood why they play it.
Sports are kind of like anything else, movies, books, whatever. You read them, watch them, enjoy them to get away from politics, from religion, from all that bullshit.
Here's something that actually sounds true. Sports are entertainment, correct?
Yes.
So why the
depending on what
fuck
you're
in the WWE, for the most part, you go to a Monday Night Raw, you don't listen to the anthem.
They play the anthem when it's like an important event.
Yeah.
And you know what?
When you go to a movie in the theaters, do they play the anthem?
No.
No, they don't. But it's all entertainment. So therefore, it's your way of getting it. Now, I don't disagree with them wanting to play an anthem and showing patriotism. That's fine. The one thing I will say to Colin Kaepernick is, look, I understand your reasoning, but if you're an American, I do believe you should respect your anthem. But if your message is something else...
He got the advice to kneel from an American veteran.
Yeah.
It created waves, but I just...
But now, him kneeling for the anthem doesn't have the same power as it did 6 years ago.
The fact that right now people are talking about a guy who hasn't played in the NFL in 3 years. He is still the marketing face of Nike, who just experienced record sales.
Yeah.
Yeah, Colin Kaepernick is a guy to talk about. Yes, absolutely. He is probably taking a knee. Probably holds more of a statement now than it did when he first started, because now he's been boycotted.
But at the same time, now you're going to see people just doing it for the sake of doing it, though.
Yeah,
and
but
not
eventually
knowing
everything jumps to shark.
Right.
Like that's.
And I
it's going to be like that at some point.
I honestly
it's a
think
taunt you're going to be able to have in WWE 2K20.
Look at that, but I even still remember 2 days ago I read a tweet that was something along the lines of a 10-year-old in school took a knee during the Pledge of Allegiance. Good on him.
Yeah, but does he understand why he's doing the knee? Because if he doesn't understand the knee, then I do think that guy should be.
That is a different debate there. But
if he doesn't get why he's doing the knee, then he's just following a trend for the sake of following a trend.
I will say, and this is going to sound like a silly statement, but man, there are some smart children out there.
Yeah, but there's also just as many easily influenced ones out there.
Way more dumb ones.
Yeah.
Way more. But I honestly, my thing is, I hope Kaepernick signs with XFL because you can change the name in New Jersey. I want him to
You
put
won't be able to this year.
Kneeling on the back of his jersey.
You won't be able to.
I don't give a fuck. He's doing it. Legally change your name to Kneeling.
Did it Chad Johnson
Colin
change
Kneeling.
his name to Chad Ochocinco?
It's Chad Johnson again, though.
I know, but he did change it to Chad Ochocinco, which was on an NFL jersey.
Okay, now let's get into what we were talking about earlier, the Eskimos.
Yep.
We'll start off by saying you were right. Mike Riley officially signed 4-year, $2.9 million deal with the Lions.
Yep.
That's official.
And I was also right about Bo Levi Mitchell.
Yes, he's staying with the Stampeders.
I only said the Eskimos and Jennings because I didn't actually realize Harris was for free agent.
The Eskimos also announced that their president and CEO, Len Rhodes, will not seek another term.
That's fine.
And then let's get into the signings. We have Calvin McCarty, Ryan King, Colin Kelly, Forrest Hightower, Kenny Stafford, Trevor Harris, the one you were talking about just now.
Well, a lot of those previous ones were guys they re-signed the day before free agency.
Yes. Sir Vincent Rogers, Tervin Smith, Alex Taylor, Greg Ellingson, Hovind, Santos Knox, Larry Dean, Don Unaba. Never heard of him.
Oh, he's a great.
Anthony Orange.
Yeah. Tony Orange.
Tony Orange.
Tony Orange. Come on.
Devarius Daniels.
Right?
Ricky
Beautiful.
Collins Jr. And they re-signed Travis Bond.
Yeah.
They did a lot of work last couple days.
And here's why I say they got better. Because what does every quarterback need in the
An offensive motherfucking line?
And
People to throw to?
exactly. Trevor Harris's number one target in Ottawa was Ellenson. So there's familiarity right there of having a number one receiver that you know. Plus, he also brought his
Quit doing black woman hands on me.
Then he
Good God.
also brought
Christ.
a linebacker from the Ottawa Redblacks as well. He absolutely publicly went to free agents and brought them to the Edmonton Eskimos.
Hopefully they get better. That'd be nice. Because
And
I'm not
because
getting...
of that, they got better defensively, and they got stronger offensively as well because they got tighter as a group.
tighter ends.
You hope.
They took all the money that they were going to lose from pending free agents, spread that around, and actually made a more complete franchise.
I think the defensive additions are huge. I think in a league where it is still and always will be
And offensively.
not an offensively, a quarterbacks league.
Yeah.
It's not a running backs league.
No.
Frankly, like, to be honest with you, a great running back is great. You could probably function in the CFL without a running back and you'd be okay.
That's why adding Daniels and Ellingson are absolutely important.
You're adding more weapons to a quarterback who has proven so far is good.
Yeah.
He's
He's a number 3 quarterback, maybe number 4, depending on how you look at it.
Right. So
but at the same time,
you're a
Bo
mid-range
Levi,
quarterback. You're a mid-range
Bo
quarterback.
Levi and Mike Riley are getting to that point where they should start their decline from being top and top of the tier to now. All right, in a couple of years, they're
At
probably
31, I think you're
they will
right in the midst of your
They
prime at
will be.
31 as a quarterback.
Who does Mike Riley have really to throw to in BC?
And I don't know enough on that end, but to me, man, I think you've got the best.
The scariest
quarterback in the
option
league.
still is Calgary, 100% in the West.
100%. And I think by downgrading at the most important position in the league, where Calgary kept the probably second or third best, let's say, quarterback in the league in Bo Levi, and that's even an arguable third. You've downgraded at a position your greatest rival has stayed consistent at being great at. We don't know if Harris is going to be good. If he comes in
the
and
Eskimos
tears
also
it apart,
took
great.
one of Calgary's top wide receivers.
And be that as it may, but I don't think you can rely. You cannot rely on other teams getting worse. You can't, because for me, a great
And I don't think the Eskimos did that either.
A great quarterback will make a great receiver. You're not going to find Randy Moss didn't make his quarterbacks.
Okay,
better.
but as a Colts fan, Peyton Manning only brought you one championship,
100%.
and he was one of the best.
But you have to argue that the NFL isn't.
No.
Yes, it's a quarterbacks league, but it is also a more, I guess, well-rounded league than the CFL.
Oh, the CFL is a completely different league because of how little teams are in that league.
I don't think that. I think
If Edmonton Eskimos don't become a top 3 team in their division, they're crossing over. 100%, they're a playoff team now. 100%, I am guaranteeing it. Whether they get in the West or they cross over.
Yes and no. I think you're relying a lot on Moss right now too, and you're relying.
I don't put it all on Moss.
He's
I put
the
it on
big
the
reason
fact
a lot
that
of those guys signed here.
I put it on the talent that they acquired. Because if they stay healthy, that is a good team that is going to probably win you 11 to 12, maybe 13 games this year.
And they should have last year too. That's
Again,
right,
I think it's the big thing is last year they didn't stay healthy.
Yeah.
That was what killed them.
And their offensive line was terrible last year. And their defense was not good.
It was super inconsistent.
And those are 2 areas that they've already improved on. And yes, it's early to say because it's day 1 of free agency, but it is still better than where they were at this point last year.
Yeah. You've also got to wonder, would they have signed any of those guys if Riley stayed?
You know what? Mike Riley flat out said, had the CBA actually not been a question, he would have re-signed with the team last year.
Yeah.
The CBA and the fact that they don't know if they're going to have work stoppage or not is changing people's thought process.
Yeah. But the Eskimos were willing to match. Like at that point, like
they
Riley.
they did throw out similar money. The funny thing is Toronto Argonauts
Not
actually
similar. They were willing to match.
Yeah, Toronto Argonauts actually gave the option of more money to Levi Mitchell. But here's the thing: Levi Mitchell was closer to Central Saskatchewan than to Montreal, or than to
That doesn't
Toronto.
surprise me. He's literally said like everyone should live in Regina in their life.
But also, he's a center of attention type of personality. He's going to be lost in the shuffle in Toronto, and he's going to be a Greek god in fucking Saskatchewan.
He's my least favorite player in the CFL.
But
He's
also
definitely a douche.
He's also a great quarterback.
Great
100%.
quarterback, but I mean, it's either he makes a great play or it's everyone else's fault. It's never his fault, which I don't like. But, I mean,
But if you've got a quarterback where it's never your fault, like
Then again,
that's pretty
this
impressive.
is very much equivalent on the quarterback your NFL team has right now in Aaron Rodgers. That is very much what Aaron Rodgers is perceived to be in the NFL, as a quarterback who throws teammates under the bus too.
I didn't say I like
But
him.
he's a great quarterback nonetheless, because he
and his family.
at least he wants
Yeah.
excellence from the people around him, and that's how you bring excellence around you.
Yeah.
If you, at least you can back it up, people shut your mouth. That's why Shawn Michaels was one of the greats in pro wrestling. He was a douchebag,
He was average
but he always
at best.
backed up.
Fuck. Speaking of which, let's get into it. Do we want to get into your debut first? Do we want to do news first?
Well, Spencer, what did he debut?
Not
Well.
your debut. Fuck, God damn it, Perry. Like, you live just to fuck with this podcast, don't you?
I live to fuck with everything.
Fair enough. So how about the AEW ticket?
And
party
in defense,
breakdown?
it was our debut. Because it was Tag Struggle's first night in RCW.
Fucking thank God.
Huh?
That was nice to be back together.
Reunited and it feels so
Good! With new t-shirts. For one night only.
Yeah.
Possibly 2 nights only.
I'll keep wearing them.
Yeah.
That's fair. Just get me one.
Yeah, we can work on
I'd
getting.
appreciate one.
We can work on getting t-shirts made. I'm sure I know a guy or two, or
Yeah.
a couple ladies that can do it.
So AEW, Mr. Meniac.
Yeah.
Ticket party breakdown. It sold out in 4 minutes. First of all,
Break it
that's
down.
impressive.
Doesn't surprise me at all.
Doesn't
You
surprise
can
me.
get
but
a
it's
lot of
impressive.
things done in 4 minutes.
Can
Yeah.
have sex twice.
Fuck. Man, you have stamina to do it twice. That's impressive. And what do you like after the sex twice? What do you do with the rest of like the 2.5 minutes?
Cry.
Yeah, you and I are very similar. Fair enough.
Is it crime because in that 2.5 minutes you secure tickets to AEW Double or Nothing?
Cry and slash or apologize.
Are we the same person? Jesus.
Did we just become best friends?
Right.
Yep.
So how about some of the signees? Like, we think of Sonny Kiss. He is flamboyant.
He is.
Super
I had
flamboyant.
not heard of him until I watched that rally, and let me tell you, man, even from just a few clips, that guy is talented.
He's also apparently
Super
going to be in the
talented.
females division.
Really?
Yeah.
Very cool.
I actually don't mind it. I think it's different. I like it.
I love what they're doing, man. Even like signing Nyla Rose, who, like, same sort of thing. I didn't even know until maybe next day after.
Yeah.
Somebody sent over. I've got a wrestling group message with a few friends, but they sent over like first transgender wrestler signed to like a major. My air quotes here, like a major
Well,
league.
they're going to be
promotion.
definitely more of that social acceptance thing.
That's gonna be huge
Whereas
for
WWE is going to be more your business.
You even
acceptance.
hear AJ Styles a couple weeks ago on that stupid right-wing podcast he went on, that Crowder or whatever. He's just, yeah, you know, I don't think that we cater to a PC fan base very much, and yada yada yada. Like, it's. I mentioned it to you last night, Perish. Like, it's stuff like that. Like, AJ Styles is really lucky. He's a great professional wrestler and seemingly a nice human being.
But
because,
he's
like,
also very Catholic to heart too.
It's
so you
comments
gotta
like
take
that to make
with
you
the
realize, like, he is.
He's a devout Catholic.
He is a dumb redneck. You show me a devout Catholic, I'll show you a dumb redneck.
Yeah, he is a devout Catholic from the Bible Belt in Atlanta,
Yeah.
Georgia.
But
So,
either way,
yes.
that's neither here nor there. Like, to have something like that and like actively, the best way to put it is like actively not.
Maybe that's
promote
why I
it.
didn't truly want to wrestle Kofi Kingston.
Well,
on
you know what?
SmackDown.
Like, for me, I was pretty impressed with the fact, like, that was something that I found out after, because you know, if it was WWE that had signed someone
They'd
like
shove
Nyla
that
Rose,
shit in your face.
we'd be talking about a revolution, or there would be It would be another one of their, what feels to me like a disingenuous.
Oh man, if you
sort of
want to talk
revolution or
about how
something
you
along those
feel
lines,
with
you know?
female wrestling is just thrown on you and feel forced, look no further than the guy right in front of you, because I've been saying that for months on this podcast. Like, it's absolutely sickening how I can watch WWE TV and they just force
And that's the thing.
product and stuff on you.
And the worst part of it is if it wasn't for them mentioning it that often or shoving it down your throats, God, what an excellent job they'd be doing. Because it's not like they're not highlighting women.
Women wrestling in WWE would have been so much better if they didn't push it down your throat.
That's exactly it. Because it's at such a high quality. I mean it when I say it. It's better than it's ever been. But
I mean, I do believe that during the Attitude Era, they had probably better actual workers, but they didn't have they honestly, I do. When you had the Trish Stratus's, the Litas, and the Molly Hollys, the Victorias, the Mickie James, the Jazz, I mean, they had great workers there too.
They've always got great workers and they've always got bad workers.
But what they have
now, I don't think you can sit and say that they've got their most talented.
But what they have now is double that.
Yep.
But a lot of them may not be as good as some of what they were back then. But their collective by numbers is greater. Why? Because that one era has evolved a double amount of women wrestlers to be that good now that company now has.
Yeah, fair enough.
You might not have an elite, like you have your maybe 3 caliber athletes that are like top tier. But that difference between your top tier and your next tier aren't as different as it was back then. That's the thing. It's collectively have been better. That is why you needed to let me finish before we got like the facial. What the fuck is he talking about?
No, I still disagree with you. Just based on the premise that it's you.
So like, that's, to me, that's just the thing. But with All Elite, you can tell that they are going to push more, not necessarily push boundaries, but they're going to accept more minorities
and explore new
treat everyone like an equal.
Yeah, than WWE will, because some of those might hinder your partners.
Maybe not even treat everyone as an equal. Treat everyone as a wrestler.
Yeah.
Like there is for me. I love talking about women's wrestling, and for me, the thing that I will love more than talking about women's wrestling is when we're talking about wrestling. Yeah. You know, I don't want to hear about a women's revolution because to me, the women have already more than proven that, they're equal to the men in the way they can do things in ring or run a storyline or anything along those lines. So
to me, I still personally think it's a joke. People like, oh yeah, they're equal to the men. And like the fact that you're still thinking that there should be a comparison is just showing you're a step behind of where the mentality
I think the treatment, the treatment is different. As far as like the actual, as far as the in-ring ability and as far as like the way they work, 100% equal to the men. So that's why I think it's going to be so cool to watch AEW is because they haven't talked about their women's match on the card.
I don't think they're
they haven't talked about Nyla Rose versus
I don't think
Britt
they're going
Baker
to tell like the
versus
male version to like
Kylie
hype
Ray.
it down to make the women look like they're stepping better, which I know is a thing in WWE because it's clear that it's happened.
And you just know that better than I do. But it's so cool to me that they didn't say when they announced the match Baker versus Kylie Ray versus Nyla Rose. It isn't. Here's the women's match on the card. It's just we have another match announcement.
Yeah. They're not treating it as a women's thing. They're not saying a women's is a different
because
thing.
to me, I'm still just as excited to watch the match. I'm not just as excited because it's the women's match on the card. I'm excited because those three women are, and again, I am limited in what I've watched in Nyla Rose, but those three women are all talented ass women.
But at the end of the day, out of the, 3 or 4 matches that are built, like there's Pac and Hangman Page.
Yeah.
There's Jericho and Omega.
Yeah.
And the Young
Which,
Bucks
by the way,
against
Omega.
Lucha Bros.
Yeah. Young Bucks against Lucha Bros, which Lucha Bros signed.
But is it going to be a thing? Because didn't Phoenix get badly hurt?
No, he's apparently going to be fine. The match is still a go.
Okay.
And then also Best Friends signed there, which is awesome.
Best Friends?
Love it.
I'm also very, very excited the more and more I watch OWE. I'm excited to watch, and I'm also very excited.
One World Empire?
Yes. He means One World Empire.
Fuck off. I'm also very excited about the relationship with AAA that they announced on.
Still have to see.
Hence Sammy Guevara.
Guevara,
yeah.
friend of the show on Win Column Sports.
There you go. I've seen some of his work. He's
fantastic.
Well, maybe him and fellow follower of the show, Jerry Lynn, should get together and start, bringing us
do a big old wrestling match.
Well, I mean, they should just include us in.
Also, I think we're forgetting that they did that. Was it lead up to Double or Nothing? They announced Jimmy Havoc's now signed with them.
Yep.
Yes, this is true. I also know they were talking to Darby Allin.
And Kenny Omega flat out said on his podcast, Dave Meltzer, that he is trying very hard to bring in Kota Ibushi.
Kota Ibushi, as of today, has signed an exclusive long-term deal with New Japan Pro Wrestling.
But if they're also working in conjunction with...
Conjunction.
No, I'm creating my own word.
Yeah,
that's what we do
just
on this
know
podcast.
it's wrong.
Fair enough.
Hey, it's not wrong if we don't think it's wrong.
Yeah, but apparently...
Struggalicious isn't a real word, but it's a damn thing, man.
Apparently Omega and Jericho still have in their contracts that they're able to work New Japan dates.
Yeah, but if AEW and New Japan can work together and have a working agreement, all of a sudden there's talent sharing that's allowed, and Ibushi could work.
No, I don't think.
AEW.
I don't think.
Don't
you'll
you
see it
think
on
that will
level.
piss off Ring of Honor though if they did that?
No, because I'm sure they'll probably have a thing with Ring of Honor too. I'm sure Ring of Honor's already pissed with AEW stealing all their talent anyway.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Speaking of talent signings, do we see the 12 people that got signed to NXT?
Saw them, wouldn't be able to list them all to you. All I do have to say right off the bat, congratulations to Alberta's own Rachel Ellering.
There we go.
And Trevor Lee.
I know
I'm
that.
damn well excited for Trevor Lee.
ACH I'm very excited about as
ACH
well.
is there as well.
Karen Q I'm excited
Yep.
for.
But not Karen
a
H.
few of them.
Fuck her.
There were a few
Jonah
of them-
Rock and Elliot
I'm just
Sexton.
going to say you'll probably have to list the rest for me.
That's all I've got. I don't know anyone else.
Oh, okay. I know that there was one guy who's a former football player
Yeah.
signed as well.
He'll probably be the one who pushed the hardest. Just saying.
Also-
Baron Corbin's still on TV.
Also, Pat McAfee.
Pat McAfee. What an addition to the pre-show
I
panel.
mean, such a great
Multi-year
loser of the
deal.
Super Bowl.
Let's just get Sam Roberts off that pre-show panel.
Why?
I was saying that before that Belair shit came out.
Oh man, that was great. If anything, that brought more eyes onto that match.
Don't disagree. I don't think that itself was necessarily a terrible thing, but I think he's bad.
It got more people talking about the kickoff show than any other
It's the
kickoff
only
show.
thing that's the only thing I will ever remember from Sam Roberts' career with WWE.
Well, for now.
Not his giant mess at fucking WrestleMania, because that was funny.
That was
Okay,
The
that's
action.
There's
See some
also
action.
there's also rumors circulating about the Hart Foundation being inducted to the Hall of Fame this year.
Yeah, the original one with Jim Neidhart and Bret Hart.
long deserved.
Yeah, Jimmy Hart.
Yeah.
Long deserved.
I still think the whole Hart Foundation with Brian Pillman, British Bulldog,
Yeah,
Owen
no.
Hart. That,
Yes, I agree with that.
I think for me, I would be the only reason I wouldn't want them to go in this year is Owen needs to go in individually first.
I think Owen and
Yeah.
Bulldog need to go in as a tag team.
Owen needs to go in first. Even and this is nothing against the Bulldog because he is another guy that as soon as Owen's in, my candle moves on to him as he's the guy who should be in.
Well, I don't
But
think
there is-
politically
there-
there's a
there
bigger
is-
issue to get Bulldog in as much as there is Owen.
No, but I think that before you start putting people like that in, you know what? And I would even say, and this isn't a shot at the Bulldog again, but I think before you put him in, you got to have Owen in, you got to have China in.
I don't know. With China, that's a sticky situation.
China's
and
a
I mean
sticky
that in
si-
the most pornographic way possible.
Haha. But you know what? If that is your argument, if Triple H's
Yeah,
argument,
but if Sonny can get in.
Yeah,
if Triple
that's
H's
right.
argument is this is what people will see when they look her name up on Google.
I think he
Look
said...
at who is on your current roster.
I-
Look who is going to
I
wrestle
think he,
Brock Lesnar
I think
for the
he
Universal
flat out said that
Championship,
based on the
He's
fact
got a
that...
nice dick, though.
right?
I think the only reason why Triple H said that was just to show people, look, this isn't a decision from us. It's probably a decision made up above, i.e. probably Vince's call. And,
I don't. You
or
know
the
what?
board of directors
For me,
who are just more out of touch with the fan base than those guys.
if
And
that's
it's their-
if that's a Vince decision, Triple H convinced Vince that Seth Rollins should be in the main event of Mania this year, and Seth Rollins, and he's one of my favorite wrestlers. Seth Rollins dated a neo-Nazi and sent her his dick, and everybody saw it.
But to be fair, that was
Yeah.
a sweet dick.
Yeah, but Triple H
but if
dated the
that's-
porn star.
And then cheated and then cheated on her to marry his wife.
I
The
honestly,
boss's daughter.
I honestly think the reason that China won't get in is a jealous Stephanie.
That wouldn't surprise me either.
Yeah, but if Macho Man can get in, I think China can get in.
Macho Man got in because he got in Stephanie.
I was just going to say.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think for me, I think that I would love to see the entire Heart Foundation in. I think that it would be... I think that, to me, it would...
In your honest opinion, who gets in first, Owen Hart or Demolition?
Owen.
Demolition.
No, because apparently the Demolition, like, if you know the political bullshit behind Demolition, that is a... I don't think that ever gets settled.
Ultimate Warrior made it in.
Yeah.
And I think if Ultimate Warrior can make it in, the first thing I find...
Yeah, but his wife was super nice.
The first thing that I find when I look up the Ultimate Warrior on Google certainly isn't an entrance at WrestleMania. It's certainly old, racist, homophobic Jim Hellwig sitting there and talking about...
He died years ago. It's a different guy.
I don't care. Talk about respect for the dead. Like, I don't have any respect for the Ultimate Warrior.
Well, then we can't talk about Benoit, can we?
No.
Is he ever getting in?
No.
No.
Should he? No.
No. I don't know if Coco Beware got in.
If Jimmy Snuka got a fucking highlight package.
If Jimmy Snuka got in, Benoit should be in too.
No. None of them should be.
His was Hall of Fame worthy.
Oh, that's bad.
Dude, yeah, it is.
That was bad.
Yeah, it is. Little clap there. Speaking of getting in there, how about Undertaker? You can book him. Do you want to book him for this podcast?
So
it's only $25,000 an hour.
Yeah, Spencer's tab.
Officially launching this Friday on WinColumnSports.ca. Book Undertaker for RCW, the GoFundMe. Head to GoFundMe.com. Just search up Undertaker for RCW.
I will gladly work him, and he can drop to me.
We need $75,000. He's charging $25,000 an hour, so if we want to see an entrance, we need at least 3 hours worth.
Yep.
Oh, can we do it at the Abbotsford thing? Because then it's like a smaller entrance.
Yeah, actually,
I think honestly, we should also reach out to him to see how much it would cost for lights to go out, the gong to hit, lights come back up, he's already in the ring, attack somebody, lights go out, he disappears. That's a good, maybe 2 minutes of work.
And he can do that from home. That's the nice thing, is we don't even need to fly him from Edmonton.
Exactly.
We just need to say, look, here's the time, we'll text you, gong in about a minute later, appear, head back home.
Exactly. I mean, can you cut us a break so it's only 10 grand? Is that cool?
I'd love to negotiate with The Undertaker about his booking fee, purely for the fact I know exactly how that conversation would go. All right, Taker, we'll give you $15,000. $25,000. All right, we'll give you $17,000. $25,000. 20? $25,000. 22? $25,000. There's no...
honestly, I think at that point he'd be like, you keep saying it, and he'd be like, 25. He's like, okay, 25. $26,000. Just because, fuck you, Spenny.
Yeah, you know what? I stand by the fact The Undertaker is the guy I would least like to meet in a dark alley. At least with Brock Lesnar, you're like, okay, this guy's gonna German me 18 times and it'll probably kill me. The Undertaker, it's like, this guy's gonna walk towards me for 15 minutes. It's gonna terrify me.
That's fine. It's like the thing of Austin Powers when the cop is just yelling and he has all the time to get out of the way. He just chooses not to.
It's like Lancelot running towards the castle in the Holy Grail.
Exactly. I think I'd rather meet Undertaker than Lesnar, because Lesnar might actually use me as a condom.
You know why I'd much rather meet Lesnar? Because it only takes me 8 hours to get to his place.
That's true. Good Saskatchewan boy.
Yeah.
There's been an update with Jason Jordan. Apparently he's backstage doing some producer-type capacity stuff.
He's been doing that for a while. The only time I can confirm actually seeing him...
I have a prediction.
Let me finish, Perish.
No, because that's how we do it on this podcast.
He was backstage. I remember seeing him during the Roman Reigns situation. He was backstage saying goodbye to Roman.
I don't remember seeing that at all.
That was in October?
My prediction, though, is that he actually might be closer to compete than people think. And
apparently he still has weakness and numbness in his right hand.
Jordan's never going to wrestle again, from what I've heard.
It's very unlikely he'll ever wrestle again.
Which sucks. You know what? As much as I admittedly loved booing the guy, as much as anybody.
No.
Because his run was terrible after he was announced as Kurt Angle's son.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I really think that guy should have.
But
I wish he would have had the opportunity at like a redemption story.
He was getting closer
or an American
and
Alpha
closer
reunion or something
to being like
lines.
he was getting less hate. Like he was getting to that point where he was getting super over as a heel though, because of people like hating him to the point.
The issue was he wasn't a heel.
No, I know, but that was the best part though, because guess who's also not a heel?
Roman Reigns?
Ronda Rousey, but she's a heel.
No, that's why he added Charlotte to the match.
Who's also a heel now because of that.
Well, since we're talking about it, let's get into it. What do we think of this past Monday
My
night
fucking prediction is, though, Bobby Roode will turn on Chad Gable now, the fact that they lost the tag titles.
The fucking time! Sorry,
and I do think Jason Jordan will come out to save Chad Gable. Whether or not they become a tag team again or not, who knows? But I do think there could be Jason Jordan manages Chad Gable.
No, they won't put him on TV without being able to wrestle. He doesn't have the personality to manage, man.
But I love the fact that let's not forget the fact that Revival is tag champs. That's about goddamn
forever the
time.
Revival.
Yeah,
finally the Revival. Fuck, that's good stuff. That makes me happy. Very, very happy. That and so I guess what we talked about months ago is finally happening, where it's going to be a triple threat match Mania.
Yeah.
And it's probably going to be the main event because the McMahons are clearly behind it. It's going to be the one that closes the show. I'm calling it here right now.
It's perfect.
Oh, it is, because apparently the rumor was, as of last week, they're told to stop talking about the main event in regards to Brock Lesnar, Seth Rollins segment.
There we go.
Which, I don't know if the way they're going about it is the best way to make the women the main event.
I mean, it makes Charlotte a super heel.
The only way that it's saved is if Becky Lynch wins the title.
That would have to.
Is anybody really... Like, I'm shocked people are surprised by Charlotte being added to this. I'm genuinely, I'm shocked.
I'm not shocked.
I'm not
more
shocked.
disappointed.
I just don't like it.
Yeah. I would rather a straight one-on-one.
Yeah.
I would always rather a straight one-on-one, but let's look at this logically. Has Becky Lynch been chasing Ronda Rousey this whole time?
Since Survivor Series, yes.
Right. Has she been chasing Charlotte Flair longer?
Yeah, but that story's been played out.
I 100% disagree.
Really?
100% disagree.
So you'd rather see a match that you've seen a billion times before and probably will see again, but after Ronda Rousey probably
great match is a great match.
Yeah, but the first time thing is
look at it. This like absolutely.
It's like adding a third person to Rock and John Cena.
Rock and Hogan.
It's simply not.
It's like, oh, we might as well.
It's simply not, because to me, it wasn't.
Let's just add Roman Reigns to Rock and Cena.
The Rock and Cena was based on the two of theirs feud. It was The Rock coming in to screw John Cena at the end of Mania 27. This wasn't.
So what did Ronda Rousey do to Becky Lynch? Cost her the title, right?
So did Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair directly cost her the title at SummerSlam, directly leading to Becky Lynch's turn, directly leading to the man. And coming out of SummerSlam, it wasn't, oh, now Becky's upset at Ronda Rousey. Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair feuded. Didn't finish that feud because there was no satisfying conclusion to Survivor Series because of Charlotte Flair's actions.
No, but what you saw was a defining match at Evolution between the two.
Right, but they kept going from there. So if that's your issue, then neither of them should have been in the match at TLC.
No, and that is my issue, though. To me, that the only reason why Asuka was added to that match was to put the title on Asuka without Becky or Charlotte taking a fall for it.
Yeah, and why is that a bad thing?
Because I honestly don't understand why it's a bad thing to have somebody have a loss.
Because neither of them needed a loss at the point.
No,
because
but that's
if you've got the opportunity, you've got the opportunity to make your three, I guess, pillars of the SmackDown Women's Division all look strong to close out.
If you're gonna have Ronda Rousey
while simultaneously,
if you're gonna have Ronda Rousey screw around Becky Lynch out of the title,
screw Becky.
Why does it matter if it's somebody pins her?
She didn't just screw Becky.
Because at the Royal Rumble, they just had Asuka tap.
She screwed Charlotte out of that exact same title in the exact same way.
Then why did you have Asuka tap Becky Lynch at the Royal Rumble?
And why did you personally do that?
That was entirely my call. And that I thought that one was silly.
That made no sense then.
Because I thought she should have passed out. So now you make your champion look strong. You make your SmackDown Women's Champion look strong. Becky doesn't look like fucking any worse for wear because she's absolute Teflon at this point. So she doesn't look any worse for it because, let me ask, nobody remembers that result when you bring up Becky Lynch at the Royal Rumble this
You just
year.
remember her getting and winning the Rumble.
Not one person. You're going to talk about Becky winning the Rumble?
No, it's the same thing that had you would have had Daniel Bryan win the Royal Rumble the year he wasn't in it, after he lost to Bray Wyatt.
Which was a hell of a good match, by the way.
Yeah. Match.
My thing, I'm not disappointed because you add Charlotte into this, and you know it's few. I'm actually looking forward to Triple Threat. It's going to be good. My thing is, what I wanted was Charlotte to go back after Asuka, have Boston Hug Connection win the tag, have Charlotte win the women's on SmackDown, have Becky win on Raw, and at the very end of Mania, literally closing out all 4 of them. Standing there, holding together 4 horsewomen, setting up for like a SummerSlam, 4 horsewomen versus 4 horsewomen. I solely wanted it for the feel-good ending. That was it. That was it.
My issue there would have been, well, they just shit all over kayfabe and the fact that Charlotte Flair, people talk about her turning heel on Monday. Charlotte Flair has been a heel since SummerSlam.
No, what they shat on was the fact that the Royal Rumble and what it means is absolute shit.
And I talked about
after year 2 of the Women's Rumble.
But
they made the female Rumble mean shit by having the runner-up just be giving the same opportunity as the winner.
Because if there's anybody to me that is 100% allowed to screw around with the rules, it is the owner of the company.
Yeah.
And so if Vince McMahon is going to come out and you're going to play up this quote-unquote corporate champion, what better way to do it than completely screw your most treasured... Literally, your most treasured stipulation match.
Let's just go back to 30 years where we saw this for a decade.
Champion in.
I'm sorry, but I'm tired of seeing the same recycled storylines again and again and again, especially when you could have had Steph and Triple H be that instead.
Yeah,
and at least it's more okay because they're more current.
But we've watched the Authority run for what, 5, 6, 7, 10 years.
Still more current than an 80-year-old man.
To me, Vince McMahon feels more fresh than Steph and Trips because
they don't fuck on their promo every week they're on TV.
I've watched Steph and Trips on my television consistently for the last 10 years. A Vince McMahon appearance at this point is special. Hands down.
Again, I say I'm kind of in the middle.
It's special, but guess what? So is supposed to be a Brock Lesnar appearance. Doesn't mean I give a shit anymore.
And that's fair.
Right? Like, it's to the point where Vince McMahon, to me now, when he's on Raw, he just feels out of place. He doesn't feel like it's making it better. He just feels out of place.
I disagree there.
To me, he doesn't understand the generation in the ring. He doesn't understand the generation in the fan base. But
that goes far beyond his appearances and on-screen talent.
I think my big thing
it comes off that on TV.
My big thing for all of this, I think, is the fact that guys like Perish and whoever else that don't like this, they have an idea of what it should be, and Vince McMahon is a billionaire. He's like, I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want. And people nowadays, I'm not saying you specifically, just in general, they have this, this is what I think should happen, and they want the results now, because everything is so instant. They want it now. So they don't want to wait for the payoff, which that's the one thing that I found makes WWE so much more bearable, is if you're like, you know what, let's just see how this plays out. Yeah. I think they're still going to have potentially match of the night. The 3 of them together are going to be able to do some good stuff.
See, and that's where I disagree with the match of the night, because WrestleMania then really needs to be set in a different point, because the last couple of WrestleManias have been, hey, if you're on the beginning card, it's better for you, because the fans won't be fucking exhausted when you come out.
Yeah. But again, that's partially because of WWE making WrestleMania 14 and a half hours.
But with that being said, here's the thing, though. At this point in time, that company needs to listen to what the fans want more than ever, because if they don't, fans and talent themselves will leave.
You know what?
Because then they'll go to record-breaking revenue.
They have other options more than they ever did.
No, but you know what? That's the thing. I'm saying, let it. If they don't want to do it and they don't want to listen to the fans, don't. That way, if that happens, that'll just be more for us to talk about. That's all that matters.
Well, for us, yeah.
But we win either way.
But at the same time, though, for that company, though, knowing that they're going to move to Fox, if they don't bring in good numbers on their TV, Fox will drop them. I guarantee you that.
Yeah, but
How
still,
much of their,
WWE is
how
so...
much of their they only paid for SmackDown. How much of their $1 billion will they get back?
Do you
But
think
that's-
Fox needs it?
Honestly, that's the thing, though, is that...
They have what they call the NFL Network to bail them out every year.
$1 billion is still $1 billion.
Yeah.
But honestly, that's...
But to them, $1 billion is different from what other people think $1 billion is.
But that doesn't even matter. I bet you, honestly...
$1,000 to you and I is chump change to Vince McMahon.
It's like a penny. That's not the point. My thinking is, even if Fox say they had him for 2 weeks, like, screw it, we don't want to do it anymore, drop it. It's a big enough company, someone's going to pick it up.
Well, they have a network that alone. They will
Yeah, but there's a big enough company that someone will pick up Tuesday, Friday,
But-
fucking Sunday morning SmackDown,
But
whatever the fuck it is.
They won't get that deal again.
That's true.
If they get dropped by Fox, they will not see that deal again unless our product really much improves.
I guess this is where we agree to disagree. On a side note,
to disagree.
well, speaking of disagreeing, you seen Callahan and Aries on Twitter?
Yes, I have.
It's fun to watch. I'm
couldn't
enjoying this.
care.
No, he's a big fan of Corey Graves on Twitter.
Speaking of which, what was going on with him on the other day?
Oh man,
he lost it. It was awesome.
And I really like. I am biased as a guy who writes about wrestling. I like David Bixpan. Seems like a good guy.
Who?
He's a writer. He does a lot of stuff for Deadspin and that.
Okay.
He's like a prominent sort of wrestling personality on Twitter.
Okay.
And like, yeah, like my big thing for me is like, I okay, have your opinion on a guy, have your opinion on your trainer who got fired from your publicly traded company, and go ahead and defend him. For me, it makes no sense as to why he's going out and doing that stuff for, like, you talk about their publicly traded company and you talk about their TV deals and all that. Having an employee go out and defend a guy that you fired from your organization for racist and homophobic and sexist, whatever you call it in training, whether it's what Graves responded to or not, and whether he felt that the way that he was trained by Bill DeMott, was conductive to his training. Good for you, Graves. But as an employee of a publicly traded company, you shouldn't be defending the guy your company fired at all.
Yeah, but Graves, does he ever do anything that you're supposed to? Really?
Another thing too,
He's a good commentator.
People buying your
really
shares
like
now don't have that same philosophy.
And you know what? I will preface this all because, like, the one experience I've ever had meeting Corey Graves, like, he seemed like such a nice dude, and I will stand by the fact that, like, I don't think he's a bad guy, but, like, you've got to be, like, that was unexpected.
No, but
like, to say the least. I don't really have a better way to put it.
The fact that he sees something, like, at the same time, though, the one thing we can say is WWE strongly against bullying, correct?
No.
No, not anymore.
No. But, I mean...
No,
yeah,
but
yes,
publicly,
no.
they won't be ever.
Be better. Be a star, guys. Be a star.
But that's the thing. They'll never go out and bully people, whether it's online or anything.
Yeah, they do.
No, not from a company. But at the same time, what is Corey Graves doing? He is defending someone, too. He's defending.
In a very, very bully-like fashion, but yes.
But yeah, so that...
You cannot, for me...
It's negating...
That's fine to defend someone. And you know what? It's even fine to defend somebody if WWE is, let's say, independent promotion X, where you don't have stakeholders and you don't have people who have invested money into your company. Like, you're going to sit there... Like, how much faith can you have, just looking at it on a business end, how much faith can you have in an employee who's going to go off and spout because he felt like it on Twitter? What if he decides he wants to go off and spout while he's at the announce table?
I say bring it on because that'd be fun to listen to.
Then you turn off his mic, you have that power.
You've got time, but
they did it to CM Punk because they didn't know which way he was going to go on the open mic they gave him. So they just cut the mic off when they thought he was going to go somewhere else.
You see them cutting his mic off? I see them giving him 5.5 minutes to say he wished Vince McMahon was dead. So maybe
I thought that was awesome.
Right? I thought it was awesome too, and I would love to see a meltdown, or I would love to see... And this is for anyone. This isn't Graves specific. Would love to see an epic meltdown in any company for any... But for me, like, at the end of the day, yeah, it's entertainment for me. For them, they've got to run a business. And for me, if I've got an employee who not only is a face of the company, but genuinely the voice of the company.
How many guys in WWE have been fired over Twitter?
Like, over something they said on Twitter?
Yeah. How many people in the last,
I don't know,
maybe decade?
Oh, man. Probably not a lot.
Exactly.
Have they been fired for conduct unbecoming of the company, though? 100%.
Yeah,
I just think you haven't found anything specific enough on Twitter yet.
But here's the thing, Twitter
and the other thing
can
on
always
that
be
end
taken
is as far,
different ways, right?
Well, exactly. And as far as a liability goes, like, you do run into a freedom of speech issue there. You do run into Twitter's platform.
That's
at the
your
same
out.
time.
That is your out there. All the time.
Always. But at the same time, like, for me, when it would come to stockholders and that sort of stuff, and it's not like the stock's been impacted.
The stockholders only care about the
stock over the
stocks.
last 2 days.
So if it helps the stock, the stockholders are happy.
Yeah,
But,
you know what? Let's rob a bank in the name of WWE stocks.
yeah, all right.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Speaking of which, Jay
They're out this
Lethal.
week.
Is that Jay Lethal recently broke a big record when he became the man with the most combined days as Ring of Honor World Champion with a total days of 646, passing Samoa Joe.
Former Prairie Wrestling Alliance champion Jay Lethal.
There we go.
Fun fact.
Fun fact.
I
like
think
Jay
it's pretty
Lethal.
fun.
I like Jay Lethal.
I like him a lot too. I like him as a wrestler.
I think he's been there for a long time. He's like the heart and soul of Ring of Honor. I'm okay with that.
Jay
That's
Lethal
good.
gave me one of the dirtiest looks I've ever received from a wrestler while they were in the ring.
Because you called him black?
No, because that's just
And you said
rude.
he had machismo.
That's what you said.
I yelled at him. He was wrestling MRB at a PWA show, and there was a pause in the action, and I yells, well, shit, at least one of these guys in the ring has been in WWE.
That's good. That's really good. That's really good. Good for you.
Thank you. He gave me a very dirty look.
That's good.
I actually, I apologize, Jay. Somewhat.
Because we know he listens. Because everyone important listens to this.
Mr. Lethal, excuse me.
And speaking of WWE, has apparently reportedly had reps over in Japan the last, or was it to talk with different companies about business relations, open up potential NXT Japan brand.
Don't start in Japan. Just leave New Japan alone.
Well,
you know what?
It'll be tough. Like, they could, but it'll be tough.
Don't screw with it.
I say Triple H has also recently said in an interview that he's got.
You know what? They probably have a lot more knowledge about that area than what we probably do.
100%.
So if they think they can be successful, where has NXT failed?
No, it's true. Honestly, NXT UK have not failed
It's 2
yet.
for 2.
Yeah.
I mean, where do we go telling them you can't do an NXT in Japan?
We know all, damn it.
Well, it's true.
But I say honestly,
I didn't
do
call Riley going to BC, damn it.
I said do it.
That means everything.
Bring it on. Take
Do
him
it.
to Japan.
We called
that,
Neville
China.
turning heel and being successful on episode 1.
Actually, we did.
Yeah.
Triple H has also recently talked about in an interview that Middle East, India, and Latin America are other markets that they're interested in putting a performance center and starting a thing.
They should do,
why not?
NXT Mexico. That would be better in my eyes.
They do have enough talent they could do it.
I do think they do.
Absolutely. My thing is, at what point do they do so much of this that they saturate the market too much?
When the fuck do they do NXT Canada? That's where I want to know.
I agree.
Come on.
Those is by Impact.
Nah, Canadians are too willing to move.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, like, they'd be too willing. And there's not really any sort of barrier to... like,
There should be a wall.
Well, no, like, you're going
Because
down,
no Canadians want to live in Canada when they can go somewhere
It's
warmer.
not true. I wouldn't live in the States if you paid me. But
I would. You live nice and warm all year round. Oof, that'd be nice.
I think that, like, you don't have the same, like, a language barrier. You don't have, like, you're not 15 hours away from your family for the most part if you're flying down to the Performance Center in Florida. From anywhere in
My
Canada for the
family in
most part.
Florida. I'll be fine.
Right? But where you're looking at, like, an international performance center, like, there's whole lifestyle adjustments that you'd have to make coming from Japan to the performance center, the UK to the performance center. Because compared to Canada, where the difference is, well, now you got to drink your coffee elsewhere.
Yeah.
That's the
fair
biggest
enough.
change we got.
We're America Junior. That's why it's
We're just
kinda
nicer.
way nicer.
Yeah.
And better.
And handsomer.
Handsomer. Also, congrats to Jay White, who apparently just won the IWGP Heavyweight title. When the fuck did that happen? I literally saw it this morning.
Last weekend.
Yeah, I was going to say it was,
good for him.
Was it
what's
Saturday?
the show called? Something to the beginning.
The end is the beginning?
No. No, that's too easy.
Right?
Either way. Yep, I was Surprised he got it this early. I'm not surprised he's a champion, though.
No, he's...
Gato's obviously got a huge amount of faith in him. The fact that you turned on Okada to align with Switchblade Jay White, like, that's...
Yeah.
You made yourself in that moment.
Yeah.
Also, I have to say, Gato's, like, worst chair shot I've ever seen in my life.
Did you see me give one to Irish?
No.
Yeah, but do you mean worse as in, like, gross or just...
No, it looked like you could tell it was a
worse?
worked chair.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant worse as in, like, they killed the guy.
No.
Next time you see the Irishman, go up and take a look at his head. There's 2 giant scars on his forehead. That's from me.
Nice.
I actually probably could pull it up still.
You probably could. In the meantime, from all of us here at Tag Struggle and Sons of Struggle, we want to say heart-fast condolences for the passing of Pedro Morales. That sucks.
Not much else to say.
Yeah, it sucks. He's an older gentleman. Like, this shit happens, unfortunately.
This is the morbid part, but, like, everybody dies.
That's not morbid. That's just true.
Sorry to everybody listening and the 3 of us here in the vehicle.
I die?
1,000 years from now.
Everybody will perish.
Chances are we aren't here.
Everyone perishes.
Huh.
Yes, indeed.
Is that a shirt?
It should be.
Well.
What
do you wear when you die?
We all perish.
The last thing I have is a little, the more you know about our good friend Mark Henry.
Oh!
He apparently has the world record for combined lifts of snatch, clean and jerk, squat, bench press, and deadlift totaling 3,324 pounds, 24.5 pounds.
Oh my god!
All in the drug testing competition. All in drug tested competitions, making him arguably the strongest man that has ever lived. So Mark Henry is officially the strongest man who has ever lived.
I don't bite. Give him a frying pan, and if he bends it, I'll believe it.
No, I would 100%. I also have to say Mark Henry, one of the greatest moments in WWE history was that turn on Cena.
Oh, I think it was one of the greatest moments
retirement.
when he was with Mae Young.
Oh,
that
God.
was great.
No, the fake retirement. Like,
yeah, that was good.
That was one of the greatest.
That was good.
He gave birth to a hand. How
No,
dare you?
his girlfriend did. He didn't give birth to a hand.
He was the father of a white hand.
He was a father of the shocker.
That was sexual chocolate Mark Henry, too,
That was
right?
awesome.
Yeah.
Excellent theme.
Yes.
I gotta be honest with you, that may have been my favorite part of it. Like, the gimmick was great. The theme? Ooh. Terrific.
Sung by the same guy who did Badass Billy Gunn's theme.
I'm an ass man.
True story.
What about the Road Dogg appearing on WWE TV?
More like the Road Dog.
I'm shocked that no one booed him just for the fact that people know he's a writer.
Speaking of which, there's a writer that recently parted ways with WWE.
Was it Jimmy Jacobs?
Oh, he was a writer? He's been gone for a while.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. That's the only person I have ever known.
Well, Jeff Jarrett and Shane Helms now are agents at WWE.
I guess that's true. I now know a few writers. He's the first time I'd ever heard.
Was it Dewey? Fucking Mick Foley's son was one of the writers.
Didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's
Jimmy
probably
Jacobs, like the first time I'd ever heard of Jimmy Jacobs was when he was let go from WWE. And let me tell you, since then, I have heard not only anything but excellent things about the guy, but like evidence of excellent things from the guy. Like that's
the zombie princess.
The zombie
Jimmy
princess.
Jacobs. I fucking love
got to watch him wrestle it all in, but like hearing that story about him coming up to the CWE show, was it in Winnipeg?
Yeah. No,
Manitoba,
or somewhere
that he
in
just had to drive up to replace the barber. Like,
yeah.
I have only heard the story from secondhand, but like that guy seems like a hell of a human being. I've got nothing but respect for Jimmy Jacobs.
I've had a few beers with him in my past.
I never had
He's
Jimmy
a great
Jacobs.
guy.
First 2 rounds will be on me if you're in Edmonton.
There you go. Jimmy Jacobs, you've officially been called out for drinking.
You know that
With Win
story when I
College
was drinking with Roddy Strong in Chicago? Jimmy Jacobs was not far away.
Yeah, I never got invited to that either.
Well,
Yeah, it was, I
20,
think,
and
before
didn't know
both of your times of knowing each other, I mean.
If I didn't know him back then, of course I'm not inviting you.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So that's all I got. You guys have anything you want to talk about wrestling-wise or anything else before we wrap her up?
I don't think so. I think we've covered basically everything that I would have wanted
For the
to
week
be
of
honest
wrestling.
with you.
Well, then it's to where you can see Tag Struggle next.
Where's
Which
Tag
is
Struggle? And more-
exciting because you can.
Yeah, exactly.
see
It's about
Tag
damn
Struggle.
time. Now, more importantly, where are we going to see Spencer Love seeing Tag Struggle?
Ooh, that's a fair question. Well, March 9th is the next Edmonton show for RCW, if I remember correctly.
Which, by the way, Chris Parrish is now a full member of.
Real Canadian
This is the
wrestling.
first podcast where
I guess, yeah, we actually really didn't. We kind of glassed over it, so let's talk about
Let's
it.
touch on that one first. We make sort of the big announcement.
Touch it like titties. Touch all over.
Okay, well, I joined and I came, so bye.
There it is. You heard it here first.
Chris Parrish wrapping it up early.
Okay, wait.
As per.
That first part I don't do.
Sorry.
Second part.
All right, there we go. That's fair. We got to leave it at that. I can't push that any further.
That's what he said.
I believe March 9th, I am a guarantee, but I also know that there's the February 23rd show in Bruderheim.
Yes.
I'll be there.
Me too.
Featuring Parrish versus Pride in yet another Alberta Indie Dream match. Very excited on that one. Meniac, you know who you're facing that night?
Some punk ass.
That's what I was sort of thinking. He's pretty talented, though.
If his name actually is Punkcast, nailed it.
Right? No, I don't care who it is. It'll be the punk ass and then insert
But before
name.
that, this Saturday at Pure Power Wrestling, I will be hopefully defending my title against Cody Chimera at Power Rumble. I mean, PPW put in a non-title match.
Isn't that like, what the hell? Like, you put chimeras or chimeras
chimera.
You put that in lentil soup, right?
All I know is Chimera is known for
I
like
think-
Mission Possible 2 or something.
If I remember correctly, I know I'm not right on the type of animal, but a chimera is a type of mythical animal.
All I know is
Similar
Jason
to-
Chimera.
Oh, Liger!
All I know, Jason Chimera, the hockey player, giant douchebag.
As is Cody.
You know what?
Yeah.
Just I have never met him. I have heard nothing but good things other than what Meniac just said.
Okay, well,
I
mean,
do have to
you
say,
saw him against Tag Struggle last week. At
Him
RCW.
and Dirty Ink, bunch of dirty dickheads.
Yeah. Huh.
no, I didn't. It was stealing.
He was in the
camera.
corner.
Oh yeah.
He's on the
He
outside.
actually held me from
that I
making
saw.
a save. So
You know what? I
So you
do-
did see it.
do have to say,
you
man,
did see
like
it.
he's a very, very talented professional
Dirtball.
wrestler.
Someone whose ass I
Dirtball
will
Link.
kick this Saturday night
Break his sphincter with your
at the
toes.
German Canadian Club of Lethbridge.
German suplex his sphincter with your
3
toes.
different locations in that place.
Right.
Yes.
It is the German Canadian Club of Lethbridge, Alberta. 4.
Where Germans and Canadians can meet in Lethbridge.
Or yeah. So I am very much on my hands and knees to the company of Pure Power Wrestling to make this a title match, because the fans deserve title matches.
Yes, they do.
I mean, whether or not people want to think a guy like Cody Chimera deserves a title match, doesn't matter. I want to put the title on the line and I'm the champion, so damn it should be for the title, right?
Sure.
Yeah,
So-
why not?
Make it an unofficial match. Unofficial title match.
I want to make an official title match.
Unofficially official.
Let's just do it.
Yeah, there you
Let's
go.
just make it a thing. I mean,
can't.
everyone
I don't
says
like
that a contender must earn their title championship opportunity. Sure, but a champion needs to earn their legacy, and they only do that by defending their damn titles.
With Ted DiBiase Jr. and Cody Rhodes.
And
Legacy.
Too Cold
Nicely
Scorpio for
played.
no reason but an odd reference. And Barry Horowitz,
You're just starting to add people for no reason.
Man of War.
Man.
Aldo Montoya.
Sure.
Just incredible.
Man Mountain
Actually,
Rock.
He read my article I wrote on you. I don't know if you noticed that.
There you go.
He tweeted it out.
I'm
That
more,
seems
I'm more
just
surprised that you admitted he
incredible.
can read.
Hey, you know what?
Okay, question
have
for
not
you.
wa- Yes.
Just Incredible read it, but did PJ Polacco read it?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
nice.
I would-
Right
I
on.
would assume so.
Right on.
His Twitter handle is at PJ Polacco, so I think that if you're going to throw your real name in the handle, but you're like, what, shoot, kayfabe name? Yeah, just
I don't know. Everything. Life's work.
because he used to be Alderman. He was the Portuguese man of war. He wasn't just man of war.
I know.
He also did wear a mask that looked like a jock strap.
And
And it was.
I think it may have been.
Al Montoya actually is the place for Bakersfield Condors, by the
The
way.
backup for the backup for the backup for the Oilers.
The fourth backup to the back, 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 to the back. So yeah, that's where we're going to be, and catch everything sports related on Win Column Sports.
Hey, yeah, that you
Proud,
can.
proud owner and person
Liaison.
company that runs Backbreaker Media. Yeah, I fucking said it.
As long as
True.
you just throw the word liaison in there, no one's
Because
ever
as we
gonna
all know,
argue it.
Backbreaker is a division of Win
The
Column
Win
Sports.
Column Sports Network, the WCSN.
Huh, so
It's like the women's network, but
Backbreaker,
better.
you just got owed so many ways.
Let's get the hell out of here.
Yeah, let's do that.
For episode 114 of The Sounds of Struggle, I am Chris Perish.
I am sitting next to...
Spencer Love.
There we go.
And you are?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter who he is.
Doesn't matter what your name is.
Exactly.
Okay, B-level Hollywood, cut it down.
Fuck, if you're B-level, you're making decent coin.
I think I did okay.
Oh, it does all right.
$60 is $60.
That's what I say about male porn. Let's
Did
not
you
go.
make 20?
I do it 3 times.
Okay. That's what we call the natural hat trick in this automobile.
Yes, it is. And on that note, let's get the hell out of here.
That is how we squeeze our lemons. So, with that being said, we will see you next week for episode 115 of The Sounds of Struggle. In the meantime, see you later. Bitches.